Sustainable living environment. This pillar aims at ensuring the availability of living accommodation through environmentally sound resources and tactics. Sustainable living is achieved by making choices that aim to reduce our individual and collective environmental impact by making positive changes to offset climate change and reduce environmental damage. Sustainability means making choices today that will positively impact the planet tomorrow. It means thinking of the needs of the future generations by ensuring that they will inherit a safe and healthy planet to live and thrive on. This pillar ensures healthy lives and promotes well-being for all at all ages here in Kuwait. Hello and welcome everyone to our program, New Kuwait. In today's episode with a special guest, Engineer Ahmed Al-Azmi, Sustainable Energy Expert. Hello and welcome, Mr. Ahmed.
Hello, Saad, and thanks for having me today with you.
You are most welcome. In today's episode, as you know, we will talk about our New Kuwait, New Vision. And now let's talk about sustainable energy. Tell us about the situation here in Kuwait.
Well, first of all, if we want to talk about the situation, we will start with the journey of sustainable energy in Kuwait that was started in beginning of 1980s. That journey was started by KISR, Kuwait Institute for Scientific and Research, after the movement of the solar or renewable energy concept in the world. In the beginning of 1980s, the KISR, Kuwait Institute for Scientific and Research, they started the first, let's say, the academic concept, yes, or the pilot, the pilot project to work on it academically and to check how valid or the capability of this concept of the solar yes, thermal in Kuwait. Yes. That was on the beginning, and it was Kuwait in that time was the pioneer country in the Middle East and North Africa. Yes. They started the project. The project was solar thermal and photovoltaic. It's two types of the solar energy. Yes. From that time, the journey of the data or the know-how of this technology was started until the institution itself, KISR, they collected a great data for that, and they studied it very well. And they found a good conclusion that shows solar in general, yes, specifically solar thermal and photovoltaic, it's a successful concept to be installed or implemented in Kuwait. Yes. After that, on 2013, late Amir Sheikh Sabah, Ahmed Al-Jaber Al-Sabah, rahmatullah alayh, he declared our renewable vision, yes, the official vision of Kuwait for renewable. That was on Qatar, the climate change conference in Qatar, late 2013. Yes. After that, a great people of our scientists, academics, engineers, experts, they started that journey, the application journey, let's say, the part one of the journey, let's say, let's name it the academic journey. After that, the application, the in-field journey. Yes. They started what is it called right now, Shigaya Complex. Yes. And 2016, they got a big land. It's around 85 kilometer square, and the first project was a commercial pilot project, not for academic purposes. This is for a commercial, yes, purposes, and it consists of 3 technologies: photovoltaic, which is solar, and concentrated solar panels, which is solar as well, And the third one was windmills.
Yes.
That was the first commercial pilot project in Kuwait. It was the commercial operation was 2016 for the photovoltaic and the wind. On 2018, the concentrated solar power or solar panels was officially commercially operated on December 2018.
Yes.
And from that time, we had the official real start of the renewable energy in Kuwait land. On 2016, when the wind energy
Yes.
started, it was the first project in GCC, first wind project in GCC. And believe it or not, 2018, July 2018, it hit the record, the windmills that we had in Shigaya,
Yes.
northwest of
Yes, we will
of
talk
Kuwait.
about
Yeah.
Shigaya in very details. But what a comprehensive description to the journey of Kuwait and sustainable energy. To the average viewer, could you, in a simplified way, could you tell us about what is sustainable energy? You said the wind.
Yeah.
So they are not from oil, because we are rich
Exactly.
in oil.
Yeah.
Tell us about why do we need that?
Yeah, that's a good question. When we talked about our late Amir,
Yes.
rahmatullah alayhi, when he declared our vision, the using of oil, it emits CO2, which is carbon dioxide, that help to increase the annual increase of the temperature in the worldwide.
Yes.
And that creates a climate which is called the climate change. And that's a big obstacle that the entire world is facing right now.
Yes.
Nowadays. So from 2013 and after that, on 2015 COP21 Paris Agreement, it was the official ethical agreement that everyone signed on it. Each country in the world signed on Paris Agreement. And that gives each country an ethical commitment to build renewable projects. But your question is why or how? Let's say how do we call it sustainable energy?
Yes. Actually, let me make sense of what I said.
Yeah.
Sustainable means something we can rely on.
Exactly.
We can rely on oil.
Continuous. Yeah.
Yes, continuous.
Exactly.
So these are alternatives.
Exactly.
The wind and the sun and the energy. Do you mean that, like we still have oil?
Okay. Yeah.
But the alternative to make the climate change and all of these subjects, to connect everything together.
Yes, it's a combination actually, because the oil, on my, let's say, simple experience, the oil will remain no less than 60 or 70 years. So that's the main energy source that we have. But let me get you to something specific on renewable. Why do we call it sustainable? Because it's rely on sustainable sources. For example, sun, wind, rivers, waterfalls, something like that. It's all related to the natural resources and something daily you can experience. For example, oil. What we know about it, like it's a big storage of a liquid that you can get it from somewhere, and that oil has a specific storage in each country, and one day it will be finished. But sustainable energy, the sustainable or renewable energy, from its name, it's renewable, so you can experience
and less pollution because of the climate change agreement.
Exactly, yeah. Plus, it doesn't emit any CO2 versus the oil energy or our power plants right now that works on fuel in general. It emits CO2.
So that was my question, because to the average viewer, when you say something like sustainable energy, they said, okay, this is sustainable. which is something against the agreement because of the CO2, has a lot of problems. So now, tell us about the Shigaya project, how it's going, because you just started and...
As we said from the commercial pilot project that was on 2016 and 2018 with the three technologies. Let's have just a very simple overview on renewable energies. Renewable energy is anything related to renewable or sustainable source. As we said,
the sun,
some
wind.
waterfalls, sun, wind, everything like that. But in Kuwait, we don't have rivers, we don't have waterfalls.
We have a lot of sun.
But we have a lot of sun. And we have wind, and you don't believe if I tell you...
Do we have wind?
Yes, it's one of the top 10 spots in the world. It hit the record in July 2018, and I was surprised from this info. And I was one day speaking in German in Berlin, a conference with some Europeans and Americans, some people experts around the world, and they were amazed. And when they checked the real data, they didn't believe it until they checked the real data.
Where is the location here in Kuwait?
It's northwest in Shigaya, where is where is the border, Salmi border.
Yes.
It's very close from there. And it worked well. And we have successful applications for three technologies: PV, or photovoltaic, CSP, concentrated solar power or panel, and the wind. All of them are successful technically. Now, from that, they took from the 85 kilometers square, they took 1 point something kilometers square to build that commercial pilot project. Now, the institutions, for example, like Ministry of Electricity, Water and Renewable Energy, KISR as well, who else? The CAP, Kuwait Authority for Partnership Projects. They are working together as a team to build the entire 84 kilometer square fully. It's going to be fully renewable energy. This is one of the biggest renewable energy.
And this is in the National Development Plan? So New Kuwait.
Exactly. And that will hit our record, which was 15% from our peak power. It's going to be from renewable energy. That was our vision from late Emir, Rahmatullah alayhi, Sheikh Sabah, in 2013.
This is something new indeed, very crucial and very important information to know about the Shigaya project. It's really indeed very important, and we're glad to have you here in the program to tell us about this, and we will continue this interview in the other part. Thank you so much for joining.
Developed infrastructure. This pillar aims at developing and modernizing the national infrastructure for the purpose of improving the quality of life for all. Development infrastructure means network infrastructure for water supply, wastewater, stormwater, and land transport to the extent that it is controlled by local authorities. Infrastructure can often be produced on a smaller scale by private firms or through local authorities. Also, infrastructure can be classified as soft or hard, and both are essential to the economy and quality of life of a society. This pillar aims to ensure availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all, also to build resilient infrastructure, promote inclusive and sustainable industrialization, and foster innovation.
Hello and welcome, dear viewers, to our program, New Kuwait, in which we will talk about many subjects related to our National Development Plan. Today's episode, we will talk about renewable energy with our guest, Dr. Nizar Khatib, consultant for the Ministry of Electricity, Water and Renewable Energy. Hello and welcome, Doctor.
Welcome, thank you.
You are most welcome. We are glad to have you here in the show. We would like to talk about being a consultant. Tell us about renewable energy. in general and here in Kuwait?
Okay. Renewable energy is a goal that Kuwait has taken on its decision-making process, that they will achieve a 15% limit or quota, or let's say target, of all energy produced in the country. This promise Kuwait made in front of the United Nations to reduce the carbon emission levels in Kuwait to be in tune with the world demand, that all industrial nations reduce their footprints in carbon in the protection of the planet, where the global warming phenomena occurring, and that will affect all nations together if they don't control the emissions of CO2 on the air. And this promise was made by the late Sheikh the Emir Sabah Al Ahmed, Allah yarhamah, and we are in the progress of making this promise come true. The government of Kuwait, the year 2012, established a big project, a mega project in the production of renewable energy using solar energy. And that technology divides in two divisions: the photovoltaic technology and the thermal solar heat. They're called concentrated solar power, which is a different technology but uses the same light from the sun, the heat from the sun, to generate electricity using steam turbines heated by the energy from the sun. These two technologies, and from the photo or from the solar, and added to that the wind turbine type of electricity generation. And we are in the footsteps, of all the industrial nations that led us in this project. We are about to engage in a big project, mega project called Ashigaya project, which is supposed to produce 15% of the nation's demand on energy.
Yes.
You know, the energy demand increases year by year by 6%. So if we are now consuming around 17,000 megawatts of energy within, let's say, the year 2030, with a 6% of increase, we're going to be requiring 32,000 megawatts of energy to be produced. And taking a quota of 15% from this 32,000 is around 5,000 megawatts of energy that should be produced using solar energy, or let's say renewable energy. And since the efficacy of using solar panel, photovoltaic panels, and solar mirrors that concentrate the heat in a point to make boilers generate steam power, this is very mature technology, and it became very viable economically, meaning that the cost of generating from these type of technologies became extremely cheap, or let's say economical, in other words. And that in itself made the demand from developing nations such as Kuwait to make the conversion from fossil fuels, regular fuel, to renewable energies, a very easy decision to be made. As you know, we in Kuwait burn oil in the form of diesel, or let's say kerosene, or even raw heavy oil. And these cause the CO2 footprint for Kuwait becomes higher. And the promise to make a zero footprint, zero carbon emission demands that the more you produce CO2, the more technology you have to use to capture the CO2 from the atmosphere and reinvest it in some form. One of the forms that doesn't use CO2 emission is solar panels using photovoltaic or solar mirrors as a concentrated solar power. In Kuwait, we are aiming to produce this 5,000 megawatts of megawatts of power using the photovoltaic plus CSP technology, the concentrated solar power, in the Al Shigaya complex.
Yes, before we talk about this, you had a very comprehensive and detailed explanation about this situation in Kuwait. Let's talk about why do we need to have a renewable energy. It's because the agreement we did with the Paris Agreement, which is to the emission of CO2 in the air and etc. So let's talk about Ashigaya. You said we need, every year we have 6% higher usage.
Increase in demand, right?
Yes. Can we raise awareness to the citizens that we use a lot of energy, decrease the 6%?
Yes, absolutely.
And then my second question is, do we produce any energy from Al Shigaya project currently?
Yeah, currently we have, first of all, let's concentrate on the Shigaya, and then we'll see how the public can help in, in, let's say, reducing the high demand by, how to say,
how to raise awareness about
by raise awareness on how to really use the energy
I think we use
responsibly, right?
Yes, we don't use it responsibly.
No, that's true. We have to.
Yes.
And there are some programs that the Ministry of Electricity is working on that will help in that. We'll talk about it shortly.
Yes, I remember when I was a child, I see a lot of advertisement on TV, use less energy, even water.
Yes. There are many programs, actually, if we were going to start talking about the programs. There's a program called Hafiz, where if you reduce your consumption of electricity, the ministry gives you credit to your electricity bill for 1 full year, and that is like a good return on investment.
So give them money.
Yes. Well, we don't give them cash, but you give them credit, so their future bills becomes lower.
Actually, as citizens, we are scared that the Ministry of Electricity that will make electricity even more expensive. So we'll use it responsibly.
Exactly.
So we need these things.
Yeah, the cost might be rising. We sell the kilowatt in Kuwait for 2 fils. And
so instead you said we will give you more money.
We'll give you more money, just use it responsibly and try to cut down on, let's say, not necessary use of that really expensive commodity.
Yes.
In a very quick, let's say, survey, if you go around the earth and see where is the cheapest kilowatt, you'll find it's Kuwait.
Oh my God.
And even if our, let's say, Gulf neighbors, our brother countries, you'll be shocked by the level of price. It reaches 50 fils per kilowatt in some of the countries around us. And the electric, let's say, utility is not a government owned, it's companies that run the show. And to make it economically profitable, you're going to have to raise this. But we're not going that way in Kuwait. We are concentrating on renewables to subsidize the high demand. And that process is going to be hopefully completed by the year 2030. We'll have the whole Shigaya plant operational. The other thing that we're trying to achieve now, and it's in the legislation process, we already have a good legislation platform to start with, which is buying electricity from the public. We will encourage the public to install on the roof houses photovoltaic panels and connect them directly to their house. And with an area of, let's say, 200 meters square, you can easily produce 10 kilowatt to 20 kilowatts in the at most circumstances. And these 10, 20 kilowatts per hour can be fed directly into your electric grid, the house grid, and then you'll find that your consumption will be reduced by 30 to 40%. And that all translates into money. Plus, even you're reducing your consumption in the house, the ministry will gauge how much electric voltage, photovoltaic power you're producing, and the company, the ministry will pay you credit-wise in your bill for that amount, not 2 fils, but close to 20 fils. That's the going idea. If you install that photovoltaic system on the roof of the house, and you feed it into your system, we have a special meter installed there. Whatever you produce the electric company will pay you 20 fills per kilowatt. Imagine you buy 2 fills from us.
That's a better idea.
Yeah, that surely it's in the work, and it will save us a huge amount of power production and cost for the government and for the Ministry of Electricity, and it will save money for them. So it's a win-win situation for the consumer as well as the electricity and water ministry.
Yes. Dr. Nizar, you said the Ashigaya project will be will operate 100% by 2030.
That's where they hope to achieve.
How much it will produce for Kuwait? Is it 50% of the energy or?
No, it's 15%. That's 15. the promise or the promise.
So this is the first step, or this is the final step?
No, this will be, it's an ongoing process. This is the first major project, and other projects will be following.
So 15% is
15% by 2030. That's 5,000 megawatt, and it's going to be done. The plan is to make it on the term called IPP, Independent Power Provider, which means that whoever gets to run the project will deal with the government, or the ministry will deal with them on the basis of sell me the power, you run, operate, find the financial tools and apparatus to finance the whole thing, and the government will engage with you with a 25-year lease program that we will buy.
So it will be a private company?
It will be private company. It will be publicly owned by the people. It's an IPO run in the in the stock market. It will be offered just like Al-Zor power company, but this one is for renewables, and the public will be invited to contribute to join the venture. Plus the other companies that will come and build, operate, and maintain the operation of for 25 years programs. And this will be like a new venture for Kuwait, first time.
Inshallah.
All the Gulf states, nations, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia already done that, and they're very happy with the success of managing and operating an IPP venture with the international companies all over the place, and the established companies within their local markets, electric companies that run these projects for them.
That's very good to know about, and comprehensive information. As I said, thank you so much, Dr. Nizar.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
That was Dr. Nizar Al-Khatib, and with that we conclude our episode. Thank you for watching, and see you tomorrow.